With the permission of Hashem, the parasha of this week, the Torah talk about Vayitze Yaakov meBe'er Sheva. Yaakov Avinu, he was very old man, and now he went from Be'er Sheva to go to Haran to get married. And the Torah explained that Yaakov Avinu alav shalom suddenly he decided before he go to Haran to get married, to meet the girls that he want to marry, he went to the yeshiva of Shem Ve'ever and he sit there 14 years. 14. 1-4. The question is, why? Yaakov Avinu, he was already an old man, and Yaakov Avinu, he had an order from his father to go to his uncle and to take one daughter of Laban to marry. So what happened? Why he went for another 14 years? My friend, we think that life is easy. We think that a lot of people that they're not married, and I ask them, why not married? I have time. And then a few years later I meet them, I have time. Up to now, they're not married. A lot of people, sometimes I ask them, why you have no children? You've been married for 2-3 years. Well, we didn't decide yet. It's like they decide when to have children. Or when they want children, they don't have children. They come to me for a bracha. I told them, do you think it's you who decide to have children or not to have children? It's Hashem who decide. You know, I just received a letter this morning from somebody that the doctors told him that to do an abortion because the baby is not well, it's not good, and they advise him to. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not gynecologist, I'm nothing. I just said to that lady, you know, madam, you have to go to ask some rabbis. Because who can decide to take a life of a baby, of a child? Ask rabbi. I mean, rabbi is the same. How do they know? But they know. Hashem helped them. And the rabbis, he said, well, according to all what I see, there is no evidence that the baby is not healthy. Don't do the abortion. Because that rabbi was as well a doctor. He was a posek, he was a big dayan, he was a doctor too. So he said, I don't see. And that woman, she went after to some other doctors and she did all the tests and she was perfect. Perfect. There was no problem. So sometimes, only Hashem decide. I will not say that the first doctor did a mistake, but I don't want to go into this very deep, but Hashem decide. And Baruch Hashem that I told her, don't listen to the doctor, ask first a rabbi, a dayan, if you can do the abortion or not. And Baruch Hashem at the end, they found out that it was a mistake. The first doctor had no time to see well the scan and he's a killer. I mean, then he told her, well, yes, I'm sorry, yeah, but okay, you're lucky that you didn't do the abortion. No, my friend, sometimes we think we're tzaddik, we're enough tzaddik. No, it's a life. To be tzaddik, it's not only when we do one day good things. It's all the time. All the time we have to do always good things, good things, good things. Yaakov Abinu, of course, he was an old man, and he was supposing to go to Haran to meet the future wife. But he said, I'm not strong enough. Here in Beersheba, of course, I have a brother that he was not perfect, but thanks God, I was in the house with Yaakov, with my mother. Now I'm going to go to Haran, a place that there is no Jews, there is no synagogue, there is no Beit HaMidrash, no yeshiva, no rabbis, nobody. I need to be stronger. It took a chance. Maybe by waiting another 14 years, maybe he will not find a woman to marry. But he said to himself, I cannot take the risk not to be strong enough. So that's why he went to the yeshiva, to be more protected with the Torah. Somebody told me, Rabbi, tell me how the Torah can protect. I mean, what a book protects you? What's this? And I told him, yes. I said, look, if you have a headache, what do? You take an aspirin. But the question is, what an aspirin will take off the headache? Well, you take the aspirin in your hand, what? This aspirin will take the headache out of my head? Yes. Yes. Test. Take it, you will see. This is the problem with people. People, they don't want to test the Torah. And because they don't want to test the Torah, so they have a problem. So they are always in the hand of the Tzara. But test the Torah, you will see the Torah will protect you from everything. From everything. My friend, we have to know one thing, that Yaakov Abinu, he was the symbol of the Torah. How much we have to love the Torah. Vaytzei Yaakov, when Yaakov left his house, the Rashi said, when he left his house, Pana Hoda, Pana Ziva, Pana Hadara. When a tzaddik is in the city, so all the city, even that they don't see Yaakov, because nobody see Yaakov. Yaakov, he was in the house. He was not like his brother Esav, that he was walking around. He was in the barn. He was in this bar and this bar and this cinema and here. No. Yaakov Abinu Alav Shalom. If you want to know where he is in his home. Sit and study Torah. Yaakov Ishtam Yoshevu Alim. He sits in the ohed, in the tent. What does he do? Sits. The tent is sitting, learning Torah. You should know one thing. For a man like Yaakov to leave his home, the holiness of his home, to go to a place that there is no Torah, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's very difficult. It's not easy. It's not easy. And Yaakov Abinu Alav Shalom, he said, to go to the place, I need more. I need more Torah. I need to prepare myself. So that means 14 years of preparation, how to deal with Laban, how to deal with his uncle, that he was a Rasha. It was not easy. And now there is no guarantee that he will find a woman there. There is no guarantee. I mean, it's a big doubt. But he had the emunah that his father blessed him, so he go. You know, the blessing of a tzaddik, it's not only for a short time. A blessing of a tzaddik, it's for generations. There is a story about a man that one day he was driving a car, and this man, he told me the story himself. It was about 40 years ago, maybe 40 years ago. That man was older than that. I think today he maybe passed away. His name is Mr. Levy. And that man, he told me, come, Rabbi, I want to tell you a story about your grandfather. And he told me, I have a car in my garage. And this car, your grandfather, he blessed my car. I told him, what? My grandfather, Rabbi Chaim Pito, he blessed your car? He said, yes, he blessed my car. I told him, how he blessed your car? He said, well, let me tell you. One day I was driving the car, and your grandfather, he was walking in Casablanca, and he stopped me. He don't know me. When I saw him, I saw your grandfather, I stopped right away. And he told me, can you take me to that place? He was with his gabbai, the one who go always with him, because the rabbis never walk alone. And I told him, yes, Rabbi, come. It's a pleasure for me. Thank you very much. Thank you, with this honor that you give me to take you to the place where you want to go. And when we arrived there, Rabbi Chaim Pito, he looked at me and he told me, I don't know what kind of blessing I give you. You are rich, you are married, you have children, you are healthy, you have everything. I don't know what bracha, blessing I give you. He said that he did not ask. He said, so the rabbi said, you know what? I'll bless you with a long life, and I bless this car that never you will have a problem with this car. The tire, the engine, even if you have no petrol, the car will carry on. It will carry on driving. But he told me, but don't forget, don't run Americans. Always put petrol. Who was laughing? Who was joking? So now, the man told me, Rabbi, your grandfather, he passed away 40 years ago. That means this car now, I've been driving this car for 40 years and never had a problem, not even a scratch. And look at me, I'm an old man, very, very old man. He gave me a bracha to live long and not to have a problem. And this car never had a problem. Not a tire exploded, nothing. A bracha, a blessing of a tzaddik. A blessing of a tzaddik. So Yaakov Abinu said, my father, he blessed me to get married, to find a good woman, so this bracha will remain. Now, marriage is one thing, but to be protected from Lavan, my uncle, it's another thing. I have to be stronger. Otherwise, I could have a problem. Spiritually. People today, they only look for their convenience. They have as well to watch out. You want to go to live there? Okay. It's your convenience. Okay. But if there is a synagogue there, if there is a kosher food there, if there is a mikvah there, is a Jewish school there. People don't think about that. People think about their convenience. Yaakov Abinu, he teach us, don't look only at your convenience. You wanted to go to Haram? Okay. To get married? Okay. But I have to be stronger. A man should not think he's tzaddik enough. The more he can protect himself, he should do it. And that's why Yaakov Abinu did not go right away to Haran. He went first to the yeshiva. another 14 years to make himself stronger. My friend, we have a tough kid. Why Hashem Torah? He said, "Ve'agita bo yoma v'layla." We have to study Torah day and night. I mean, what reason? Why? How can I sleep with studying Torah? How? Day and night. Ve'agita bo yomam. Day and night. It's impossible. My friend, you don't have to be a rabbi to study Torah day and night. No. If you are honest, if you don't steal, it's Torah. The Torah said don't steal. The Torah said be honest. The Torah said believe in Hashem, pray to Hashem. You do all this. It's Torah. It's like you study Torah day and night. It's not taking a book day and night. You look at the book you study. No. You don't need to do all that. Leave that to those who have the zichud, the merit to study Torah. But for Jewish people, even to study, to live the Judaism, this is Torah. People think that when we talk about Torah, people think talking about Torah, that means we have to be rabbi. No. To live in the way of the Torah. The Torah said, don't do that, don't do it. If you don't do it, it's like you study Torah. You can do yourself, but you have to do yourself according to the halakha. What to do, what not to do. My friend, who keep us alive from generation to generation till now? What? How? My friends, is the Torah. Otherwise, we'll not be here. You know, I saw one of the chief rabbi of Israel, Rav Yitzhak Yosef, in Mexico. He told us that when there was a big meeting of European rabbis in Russia, the last day, there were there about 500 rabbis. So President Putin of Russia, he came to welcome them and to tell them, thank you that they choose to come to Russia to do this all those conference about Judaism, all those rabbis. So the president of Russia, he was talking to the president, and he told him, I would like to ask you a question, Rabbi. So the rabbi said to the president, yes, Your Honor, what's your question? He said, I don't understand. With all the problems that the Jewish people have been through, how many Shoah, how many times in Europe they killed the Jewish people. We thought that the Jewish people are finished. Always there is some. Always the Jewish people escape from Shoah, from assimilation. And the president said, look, even when Russia was communism and it was forbidden to do religion, the Jewish people, they did that in hiding. They did Brit Milah, they keep mitzvot. From where that strength came to the Jewish people. And the chief rabbi, he looked at him and he said, do you have more questions? He said, yes. How it's possible that the Jewish people are not assimilated in billions of people around the world? You are only few million. How it's possible that few million resist? And a few years ago, you were only few hundred thousands. And how few hundred thousand Jews resisted not to be assimilated. And the chief rabbi looked at the President Putin and he told him, Mr. President, do you have an answer of your question? And the president said yes. Because of you, your rabbis. Because the Jewish people, they listen to the rabbis. You teach them like you do. You came to Russia, 500 rabbis, to talk about the future of the Jewish life of Europe. That's what keep the Jewish people alive. Your Torah. That's why you are here. It's because of you, rabbis like you, who spread Torah. And that's why the Jewish people remained. Not because they are clever. So the rabbi wanted to tell him, no, Hashem will protect us. But the rabbi did not say nothing. He did not say Hashem protect us. And the president's Putin, it was right. What protects our Judaism today is because we study Torah and we live the Torah. You don't have to be a rabbi. You don't have to be a chief rabbi to study Torah. By doing mitzvot, when you keep mitzvot, this is Torah. There was one day in Jerusalem, it was snowing, and there was a rabbi who saw Rav Shach dancing in the street, and the snow falling on him. And he told him, hey, Rabbi Eliezer, did you win the lotto? Why you dance? And the Rabbi, Rav Shach Alav Hashem, said, I was now learning Torah with the brisk Rov degrees. And he told me a beautiful word of Torah. It's so beautiful, so nice. I'm so happy. Are we happy? Are we happy when we study Torah? When we hear a good word, a good Dvar Torah, a good lecture, are we happy? I wanted to ask you, we're happy when we count money. Are we happy? When we sit and study Torah, and this is another level. But there is two levels in Judaism. The highest level is the one who sits and studies Torah. This is the high level. There is another level. There is a lot of level, but the small level is when you live Torah. You live according to the Jewish law. For me, this is the lowest level. And you live, this is Torah. There is another level that you study 1 hour a day, Daf Yomi, 2 hours. Or you study only one halakha, one law, every day. This is what the Torah mentioned. Vayitze Yaakov, he left Beersheba, he left his home, he left the yeshiva, he left his house, he left his town, he left Eretz Israel to go to Haran, to his uncle. And there, people there, they were idolatry. They were thief, they kill. They were not good people. They live with no morality, nothing. To go to live there, it's impossible. I have to be stronger. So you understand, my friend, it's not easy to think wherever you want to go, you can go. It's not possible. There is place, if you have to go there, you have to be strong, not to fail there spiritually. I know a lot of people that they left their home to go to an university or to go to study somewhere, to be doctor. They become doctor. But they, they left the religion. Because even if you want to go to a university, you have to see what kind of university. Is there is any synagogue around there? Is there is any kosher food there? At least you can be a doctor and a Jew, but not to be doctor and not to be and to forget with Judaism. You will leave it behind you. This is the lesson we learn from Yaakov Abinu. Vayitze Yaakov מבאר שבע, Be'er Sheva. When he was in his home was like a be'er full of water, be'er Maim Hayim, Ter. And the Sheva, he was Saveya. He was, Baruch Hashem, from the Torah, he was learning there. It was enough for him, Be'er Sheva. Now we want to go to Harana, Harun Af Shel Makom, a place that they make Hashem angry, a bad place. It was impossible for him to leave a place when he was full of food of Torah, Savaya Torah, to go to a place of Reshaim. It was not easy for him. So he had to go to the yeshiva another 14 years to study Torah. To be stronger, to face Laban. We have a duty to be Jew, to study Torah, to give it to our children. When Hashem gave us the Torah and Har Sinai, He gave us the Torah Lidorei Dorot for generations. Hashem did not need to appear and to give us Torah every time, every year, every moment. He did it once. For all Jews that will be born, all generations till Mashiach will come, they were there. They received the Torah. And excuse me to tell you this, and the Torah, it doesn't set the date. We say that Torah was given in Shavuot, but the Torah and the Bible, it's not written that Torah was given on Shavuot. Why? You know why? I'm going to tell you something that you never heard in your life. Because when Hashem, He appeared to the Jews, He gave them the Torah, they were there, all Jews. Maybe they were there, hundreds of millions of Jews, that they will come through generations. So, even me, I was there. So me, I was born in 1950. Today is 2017. So Hashem, He gave me the Torah that I will study now. So that means the Torah was given to all generations. I mean, each Jew that he will live in any generation, any year, so he received the Torah with the dates that he will be alive. That means that I received the Torah. For me, it was like I was there as well to hear the voice of Hashem. And Hashem, He looked at me. He said, "Hey, Pinto, David, you will live. You will be born in 1950, and Be'ezat Hashem, He told me, you will live 120 years, and this is the Torah that you will be studying." So that means, that's why there was no age. The Torah did not say which date the Torah was given. The Torah was given for each Jew and each day that he will be living. It's something incredible. So, my friend, respect the Torah, respect the mitzvot. It's not easy. Only if you live through it. The Torah is like water. Like water. You see the river. Always you see water going. Never stop. It rain, no rain, You see the water going, never stop. The Torah, it should be the same. You cannot live without water. You cannot live without Torah. You have always to live your way. You are thirsty. you take water to drink. Torah, we compare Torah to water, but you have to be thirsty to drink it. And to be thirsty, first, live the Torah. Live what Hashem wants you to do. Do what Hashem. Then you will see for yourself if it's good or not good. I was reading a beautiful story about Rav Shach. One day he said on the day of Simchat Torah, he said to his student, do you know what it is Torah? Do you love the Torah? And he told him, do you think it's easy to love the Torah? It's not easy. You can only to love the Torah. He told him, I'll tell you a story. He said in the Shoah, when the Nazi, they wanted to kill the Jews, they took a group of Jews, 100 people. They told them to take their clothes off. And they told them they have to enter a room to have a wash. There was there a Jew, a man. And he told his friend, you know, if we enter this room, we will never come out alive. But you know, one thing, if we do, it can keep us alive. You know that today, according to my calendar, it's Simchat Torah today. So let's dance, let's sing. We'll enter this room with singing, with happiness, with Torah. We have to show Hashem how much we love Him. And we are willing to die for Him. Let's show to the German how much we love Hashem. That's what they did. They started dancing, nude. The German couldn't understand. The Nazi couldn't believe all this. And they entered the chamber. Then the Nazi closed the chamber. And they were singing. And then we could hear them screaming, Shema, Shema Israel, and singing. Rav Shach started to cry. He said, how it's possible to know that you're going to enter this chamber of gas, you will die there, and you sing Torah? How it's possible? You sing for Simchat Torah. How it's possible? And Rav Shach said, if they did not love the Torah, if they did not love their religion, they would not sing at the moment that they were dying. And among all those people, they were not only religious people, all kinds of Jews. Anyone who lived the way of the Torah wants him to live, he will love Hashem and he will love the Torah. I wish you bracha v'atzlacha. And Baruch Hashem, Yaakov Avinu has a success, a big success. He traveled to Haran with a lot of blessing from Hashem, and he faced Lavan, his uncle, during 22 years, and he got married, and he had children, and he's Yaakov Avinu. God bless you.
على ربيع حيم بنتو وقف لنا زي